Zurich was the first city where I lived when I first came to Switzerland. Here I studied, worked, defended my PhD, studied languages, and there was a lot more during the last 10 years. Hi everyone, my name is Lisa and we are in Zurich today. Zurich is the largest city in Switzerland. The population of the city is almost 435,000 people and about 30% are foreigners. The city is located in north-central Switzerland at the northwestern tip of Lake Zurich. Zurich is situated at about 400 meters above sea level. Well, more precisely, the lowest point of the city is at 392 meters above sea level, while the highest, the peak of the Uetliberg mountain, is 871 meters. Zurich is the capital of the German-speaking canton of Zurich. The city has almost everything: beautiful architecture, interesting museums, many parks, restaurants and shop windows with expensive watches, well-known banks, famous universities, highly developed infrastructure. This is all about Zurich. So let's start our walk from my favorite place, from Phalle terrace, large terrace directly beside the ETH, Federal Institute of Technology, right where I studied. The Phalle terrace offers top view over Zurich's old town. Look at it. ETH is not only the most prestigious technical university in Switzerland, but also consistently ranks among the best universities in the world. According to QS World University Rankings for 2021, ETH is ranked the 6th in the world, behind only a few universities in the US and Oxford in the UK. I will definitely shoot a separate video about ETH, so if you don't want to miss it, be sure to subscribe to my channel. The button is right below the video. Usually in winter a small ice rink was organized at the Phalle terrace, but now due to quarantine everything is empty. Let's see how things are going inside. Everywhere there are reminders of keeping the distance, and even special stickers are pasted on the floor. By the way, earlier here there were no such organized places to study. The building next to the ETH is the University of Zurich. The largest faculty here is philosophy, where almost half of all students study. The faculties of medicine, law and economics are well known all over the world. In the world ranking, the University of Zurich ranks 69th. Zurich is an amazing city. Look, figs grow in January, and even the cold and strong wind doesn't bother them. By the way, in addition to figs, you can also try legal cannabis in Switzerland, but only those containing no more than 1% THC. The Swiss National Museum is located in a castle near the main station of Zurich. Despite the fact that the castle looks quite ancient, it was built not so long ago, in 1898. The museum is very interesting, where you can study the history of Switzerland from prehistoric times and Celtic settlements to the modern era. The main station in Zurich is the largest railway station in Switzerland. It opened in 1847 when the first train in country went to the road Zurich-Baden. Before the pandemic, there were always some events in the lobby of the station. On the Christmas Eve, one of the best Christmas markets in the country takes place here, and a huge Christmas tree is installed in the center of the hall, decorated with Swarovski crystals. A figure of a woman with golden wings hovers under the ceiling of the building. This is the angel, done by French artist Niki de Saint-Foy. The angel was a gift from the insurance companies for the 150th anniversary of the Swiss railways. The sculpture weighs over a ton and is over 11 meters long. People like to appoint a meeting point at the train station under this angel. Sprungli, the renowned Swiss chocolate and confectionery company, of course cannot be passed by. A statue of Alfred Escher is installed in front of the entrance to the main railway station. This is a man who's done a lot for Switzerland. He is the founder of Swiss banks, large insurance companies, as well as the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, ETH Zurich. And on top of that, he also did a lot for the development of the Swiss railway network. For example, he initiated the construction of the Gotthard Railway. From the main station, there is a large shopping street, Bahnhofstrasse, famous all over the world. Its length is almost 1.5 kilometers. By the way, in general, it is not allowed to drive along Bahnhofstrasse, only trams run here. On the square in front of the Globus store, there is a monument to the world-famous teacher Pestalozzi, who was born in Zurich. Now we've come to Thermengasse. Here is a copy of tombstone from the ancient Roman era. The inscriptions in Latin confirm that in ancient time the name of Zurich was Turicum. Nearby is the Lindenhof, a square in the summertime shaded by the crown of old linden trees. Hence probably the name. What a magnificent panorama of the city and the river opens from here. The Limmat river flows in Zurich. It flows out of Lake Zurich and divides the city into two parts. On the one side there are the university buildings and the Grossmünster Cathedral, and on the other, the main train station and Lindenhof, where we are now. And over there, obviously, another creator is also showing this beauty to someone. The fountain located here, decorated with a female figure in military uniform, resembles an episode from the history of the city. In the 13th century, the Habsburg army laid siege to Zurich. Many defenders of the city died in the battles. And then the women changed into soldiers' uniforms and climbed the fortress walls. The enemy, seeing so many new fighters, decided that reinforcements had come to Zurich and lifted the siege. In memory of this event, a fountain was installed. Here in the square, people also like to gather to play petanque. Players take turns throwing metal balls, trying to place their ball as close as possible next to a small wooden ball. The winner is the one whose balls at the end of the game will be closer to the wooden one. At Thermengasse, you can see the preserved ruins of Roman baths, which were discovered in the 70s during the reconstruction of one of the buildings. In a narrow alley, there is essentially a free and interesting museum. Now let's talk about the three most important churches in Zurich. They are St. Peter's Church, Grossmünster Cathedral and Fraumünster. St. Peter's Church is the oldest parish church in the city, and the church clock face is the largest in Europe. Their diameter is more than 8.5 meters. Grossmünster is a Protestant church. According to legend, it was founded by Charlemagne after his horse fell to his knees over the grave of Phalle and Regula, the patron saints of Zurich. Fraumünster Church, with a pointed tower, was rebuilt several times and in 1970 was decorated with stained glass window by Marc Chagall. By the way, before the entrance was free, but now if you want to admire the stained glass windows, you will have to pay 5 francs. Lake Zurich and the quay is definitely a visiting card of the city. It is crowded at any time of the year. Next to the lake is the Opera House, and in front of it is another remarkable square, Sechsleuten-Platz, where people of Zurich like to relax. There are even chairs here, which can be freely grouped depending on the size of the company. By the way, I read that the price of one such chair is about $500, and there are about 200 of them on the square itself. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment, subscribe to this channel, and we see each other again very soon. Bye bye.